Hello, 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 and welcome to, I don't know, a review. I guess it's just a boring old review. The mob has spoken. The mob has spoken at the time of recording this. The votes are in, and Hair of the Dog by Nazareth won, beating the Barbie soundtrack. We won't include that one again. But yeah, 154 votes. Thank you for voting. And so I had to listen to Hair of the Dog by Nazareth. Can't say I'm familiar with their work. I mean, I've seen their albums in the record racks and in the second-hand record shops. But I thought, okay, it's an education. So Hair of the Dog is actually a play on words. It's a play on words. It's not hair of the dog. You know, like when you have a drink after, to get rid of a hangover, you have hair of the dog. It's air of the dog. Air of the dog. But it's been written hair of the dog because the first track is called Hair of the Dog. But it's really air of the dog. I'm going to run that one into the ground. So yeah, this was originally released 3rd of April 1975. Although this did well in the US, didn't chart in the UK, whereas the band's previous few albums, did okay. And yeah, it was. I don't think any of the singles did well over here either. Let me have a look. I'm just having a look at the Wikipedia page. Yeah, they got a single at #1 with Love Hurts, which is a Everly Brothers cover. And the title track, Hair of the Dog, didn't chart. So, but they did a cover of My White Bicycle, which is on the expanded version, which I don't know if you realise, My White Bicycle by the band Tomorrow. Psychedelic, kind of it's big psychedelic. I think it's quite an important psychedelic track. It was Steve Howe's first, was it his first band, second band? Bodast. Was it Bodast Tomorrow? Yes, or was it Tomorrow Bodast? Yes, I can never remember which way around it was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They did a cover of it, but when he goes, ring my bell, there's no ding ding. It should be at least a ding ding on it, and that annoyed me. Because there's a ding ding on the original. Big fan of the original. Love that track. Love it. Absolutely love it. Psychedelic music. It's great. So Nazareth are a Scottish heavy rock, hard rock, heavy metal, blues rock. A bit like Marillion. Scottish heavy rock band. A bit like Marillion. That's a joke. You get to the age where you have to explain the jokes because all the people that knew what the jokes were are dead. That's not good, is it? That's not good. So yeah, they're a Scottish band who did this album. This is their sixth studio album, and I wouldn't have normally listened to it. I wouldn't have normally listened to Hair of the Dog. Move Hair of the Dog there, but like I said, it was voted for. Opens with the title track Hair of the Dog, which is basically the song title is actually, I've got to be careful what I say because the algorithm is very sensitive these days. It's son of a bee, and bee rhymes with witch, so it's son of a witch. But hair of the dog, hair. Not hair, hair of the son of a witch. Get it? It's almost Shakespearean, isn't it? I thought it was a fun track actually. I quite enjoyed it. Again, the first two tracks are fairly in your face, kind of balls out rock. The singer, who's the singer? The singer is Dan McCafferty. He sits somewhere between Ian Gillan and whichever version of AC/DC you want to reference. probably the later one. It's that kind of kind of heavy metal vocal. And it's all right, but it does grind after a while. It's a certain thing. Again, these are the albums that you enjoyed when you're 15. When you're 53, not so much. But yeah, the first two are fairly out-and-out rockers. But Hair of the Dog, I think, deserves to be the title track and deserves to be a single. And I'm surprised it wasn't a hit. But I imagine the term "son of a witch," damn you, YouTube algorithm. So it's very sensitive these days. Very sensitive. Probably got blacklisted from the BBC, so that they were never going to chart with it, because it was very important in the old days that you stayed within guidelines. Otherwise, you'd got blacklisted and you didn't hit the playlists. So, but no, I mean, I quite like it. It's a fun, and I'm surprised it's not been. Maybe it has been covered, but I'm surprised it's not been covered by other people. Third track is called "Guilty." And it says international editions on the Wikipedia page. Maybe it was swapped out for something else. It's a Randy Newman cover. Everyone goes, it's a bit light as in the air thing. I didn't realise it was a Randy Newman, because it hasn't got that Randy Newman voice on it. So I didn't realise it was a Randy Newman song. I thought it was Mike Oldfield. Guilty, different song. So they slow it down a bit. Changing times, I don't know, one kind of just passed me by. It was kind of a bit like I was thinking Zeppelin for some reason. But Beggar's Day, which is if you swapped it over, if you had the vinyl, Beggar's Day is again, it's another cover. It says that the writer was Niels Lofgren, but that's not the bit I was interested in. It's the end bit. There's like a guitar, I think it's guitar, and synthesizer kind of instrumental playout, which I really kind of liked. I like that. I liked it a lot. I thought it was good. Interesting. I thought, this is good. They could have expanded on that. They could have made that longer, and it could have been the last track on the album. It kind of lended itself to that kind of, last track on the album feel if they'd have expanded it a bit. Whiskey Drinking Woman follows that, and it's what you'd expect. It's about a woman who likes drinking whiskey, and this isn't my music for me. We have Please Don't Judas Me. Was that the... Oh no, yeah, that was the final track here, because there's an extra track, but that was for the US editions. Confusing. Yeah, Please Don't Judas Me is the longest track on the album, and you got some tabla there played by Simon Phillips. Simon Phillips himself is there, and it kind of builds up. It's like the big it's the big epic, and they're pleading, don't judge me and all this, and yeah, it's all right. I think again they were trying to. They're trying to expand into other fields. I wouldn't say necessarily like world music, but I think I was trying to introduce a different, some different instrumentation on there to lift it. And overall, it's just standard hard rock, heavy metal album. It didn't upset me. I wasn't upset. I think Changing Times was a bit the dull out bit minute, and again, Whiskey Drinking Woman is like, some of the songs are like, you know what you're going to get, Again, if you've heard all these, if you've heard Deep Purple, it's like, yeah, I know where we're going with this. And that's the problem. That's why I find a lot of this music a bit, not for me. But, if it's for you, that's great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. What I did like is I liked the bass. I thought the bass playing was nice. I enjoyed the rhythm section. And I like that they had a really well-rounded bass end. I like that. And you do have this kind of twin guitar sound going on, even though there's a single guitarist. I think they did, I was reading up on them, they did expand to a second guitarist latterly, but it had this almost kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily Thin Lizzy kind of twin guitar sound on this album, which I thought was interesting. I'm not saying they should have been bigger, but they're not a bad band. They're not bad. and I'm surprised they didn't. I'm surprised they weren't like better known. Better known. I think they were kind of a bit of an outlier, as it were. Though I was looking at their chart details, and they did have a couple of hits and a couple of albums that did well. Funny enough, it was the albums previous to this one and after this one that charted. This one didn't chart at all in the UK, and I can't understand that. But it did well in America. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why it was requested for this review. But yeah, I mean, thanks for suggesting it. I heard some Nazareth, so I wouldn't have necessarily listened to it. Not heard any of their other stuff. And if you do check the streaming version out, there's loads of extra tracks on there. Like I said, they've got their cover of Love Hurts, which is an Everly Brothers track, and My White Bicycle as well, which again I enjoyed because I know the original one of that. So yeah, if you've never heard them, I think it's worth giving this one a listen. I thought this one was all right. It was all right, though. Again, the old screamy kind of vocals do, not a lot of range. It does kind of grate on me after a while. But that's my preference. That's why sometimes with the even the Deep Purple stuff, Ian Gillan doing the screech mode can a little bit wearing, But yeah, thank you for the suggestion. It was nice. It was nice to investigate something from the dustier corner of the rock cupboard. Thank you. So yeah, I suppose I should say leave your suggestions for the next one. Yeah, do you want to do that? Leave your suggestions here, but yeah, don't try and do silly suggestions. I'll put the Barbie one in just because it was a Friday and I was feeling amused. It amused me, but we're not gonna go there. Let's not do compilations or soundtracks, right? Let's not do that. Let's make a rule that we can't do soundtracks because it doesn't really work, does it? Because it's basically a compilation, and that's not what this is about. So I'm going to have to discount those from next time. But thank you for suggesting the Barbie movie soundtrack. That amused me. I checked it out. I actually had a little skim through that, and it would have made an interesting review. It would have, you'd have probably been surprised by what I was thinking. If you thought it was going to annoy me, you're wrong. It didn't, because I like pop music. So yeah, so we're going to discount that. So yeah, leave your suggestions on the comments of this one. And when I get four, we'd stick to 4. When I get 4 decent suggestions, I'll post them and you can vote again, and we'll do this all again. Hopefully this has been interesting. So yeah, I've been talking about Hair of the Dog. Oops, sorry. From 1975, 6th album by Nazareth. It's a pretty standard hard rock album, It's pretty solid, solid, but it's not anything I've been interested in. Hair of the Dog, I think it's a good song. Enjoyed that, and I liked Rose in the Heather, the second part of the Beggar's Day cover, because I thought it almost went into proggy. It nearly went into proggy, space rock almost, And I think they were a band that were tentatively thinking, oh, should we try something else, So, but yeah, thank you for the suggestion, and that's that. So one more thing to say by now, you should know what that is, and that is ta-ta.